Welcome, everyone. I'm Tom Farmer, and you're listening to Health Talks. We want to share information between patients, employers, and doctors. Together, we can all make healthcare more accessible for everyone. So every Wednesday morning at 8 a.m., let's spend 6 to 8 minutes on the most talked about issue of the week. Okay, so today's question is, why help your employer with your own insurance? Well, this is an interesting question. I know everybody or many people feel that, healthcare should be free. It comes with the employer. Boom, you get it. And it kind of used to be that way, and things started to change. And now, as there's more and more costs, the people paying, which is not you, the patient, it's generally your employer if you're in a self-funded plan, or it's the insurer. And either way, it's a third party paying as they take on the liability for your healthcare events. And so the bottom line is, whether it's a certain type of deductible or a copay or co-insurance, there's a lot of different little items of where they work in to try to figure out how to have you pay some portion. The bottom line is they want you to have skin in the game. And that means that they want to keep you from saying, well, I'll just choose all of it, because you're not going to pay for all of it. So they want you to have some feeling there, some portion of responsibility where you're thinking, geez, do I really need that $2,000 brain scan, MRI, whatever it is, to make sure I don't have a tumor in my head? And the answer is, yeah, I need that, and I'm willing to pay a couple $100 on a deductible, or I'm willing to pay 20% of that, or whatever it is, you're willing to pay for it to make sure that you don't have that problem or that issue. So that's part of why they do it. And the other side of it is it gets very, very complicated, because where do you start to decide how much do I spend? How much do I want to insure? How much do I want to sort of share or partner in this risk of my next healthcare event? And of course, you don't have a crystal ball, so you don't know. If you knew you weren't going to have a problem, you'd pay zero, right? But if you knew you were going to have some really major event, like a heart attack or something that cost hundreds of thousands of dollars, then you'd want to pay a very, very small percentage of that. So what happens in the insurance contracts, which get extremely complicated, is they're trying to figure out where are those levels and where are those layers that work. And so some people might say, well, I'll just pay 20% of whatever the bill is. Okay, well, that would be great if you have a broken arm and the broken arm cost you $2,700 and you're paying 20%, so you're paying, $540. But what if you have a heart attack that costs $300,000? Are you still going to pay 20%? Do you still want to be at risk for 20% of $300,000 or $60,000? I mean, most people would have to sell their house to cover that. So that's why they have different layers. They first have a deductible, then they have, and maybe that's a few $1,000s. Then you might have a co-insurance, which goes to a certain percentage, like an additional 10, 20, 30% of whatever the balance is beyond that. And then there's a cutoff. And that cutoff is usually what they call your out-of-pocket maximum. So that when you hit some really big event, like let's say there's a total knee replacement, it's $45,000, and your maximum out-of-pocket is, I don't know, $15,000. Yeah, you're gonna say, geez, I need that knee, so let me figure out a way to come up with that. But at least I'm covered up beyond that point of where I choose. So that's what happens with this. And this is why, coming back to the original question again, why help your employer with the insurance? And the answer is because that employer or that insurance company wants to, in effect, kind of keep you honest. Not in a bad way, but they want you to kind of help make part of that judgment. Do I really do this? I mean, it's funny. I think I had I don't know. I hate to say this, but I had some kind of a little wart on my ankle or something, and my wife kept saying, just go to the dermatologist and get that cut off. Well, the problem is, I had a couple $1,000 deductible, and if I go to the dermatologist, they're going to charge me like $500 to cut this little, skin tag, this little extra, piece of skin off my foot. And so I just got in the shower with a bunch of ice and a razor blade, and I said, let me freeze this thing out. I'm going to save myself $500, and I'm going to cut the thing off myself. And anyway, she thought I was nuts. But I think a lot of people kind of think that, but we've got to make our own decisions. And by the way, I'm not recommending anybody do that. Do not do that. So most people won't, so that's okay. But this is what part of the decision is. And I'm giving a silly example, and I just want you guys to understand what's going on. And the other part of the question I do want to answer is with why help your employer with your insurance is, remember, if you're in a business with an employer who has over 500 employees, it is very likely, 90% plus likely, that your employer is the one paying the entire bill. There is no insurance. You might have an insurance card that's, says, Blue Cross or Anthem or Cigna or whatever it says. However, it's likely that insurer is only doing the accounting work. They're doing what's called the third-party administration. They're keeping up with the bills coming in, the payments going out, just all the transactions, and the employer is paying them a fee to do that. And so that when you have an expensive event, a hip replacement or whatever you're doing, whatever that event is, your employer is likely paying all of it, and they're on the hook. And this is why your employer wants to help you. Your employer wants you to be involved because your employer wants you to start to think about your health and your decisions and how that can impact his bottom line. I mean, I hate to put it in sort of crass financial terms. I think, though, most employers care about your health, and they're motivated because if they care and they can help you on the front end, then it's going to keep you healthier and it's going to save everybody money. So that's it. That's my quick answer to that, or long answer, I guess, and I hope that helps. Your comments and questions really drive this show, and they actually help us improve understanding for all the listeners. Be sure to leave your comments at www.healora.com/health talks, and we're going to be sure to answer them. Check out the new episodes every Wednesday morning at 8 a.m. Pacific Time. This is Health Talks, powered by Healora.